I've talked a lot in recent times about the dark side and the path to many abilities that some consider to be unnatural. And one of the most unnatural abilities that we have seen in Star Wars is Maul surviving in canon. Him surviving getting cut in half on Naboo, falling to the pits of hell and then surviving somehow on a cargo ship that goes to a different planet. He turns into a spider that's filled with trash and other different living beings and spiders. Do you guys like that, or do you hate that?
I like it. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid, thinking like, how can Maul survive? Like he literally got cut in half. But I feel the way that they presented the story and kind of explained how he literally survived off of his pure hatred for Obi-Wan, I think makes it believable, but also kind of cool. And then he's sitting there for years waiting to plot his revenge, and then he eventually, Savage goes and finds him. And, then he just starts going on a terror spree across the galaxy. And I find that really cool.
So this is kind of a hot take, but I feel like as much as people complain about, well, I think it's actually justified criticism is bringing back characters. But when you look at the history of Star Wars, characters have always come back in Star Wars. Palpatine has come back in the Dark Empire series. Maul has come back in the Clone Wars. Boba Fett has come back in the comics in the expanded universe. There has always been characters coming back in some way in shape or form. I think that they need to be way more selective about it. Asajj Ventress has come back and had, 3, 4 episodes of Tales of the Underworld. I think there is a difference between killing off a character because their story ends and bringing back a character because you wanna. And I think Palpatine is one of those examples. I think that Darth Maul was probably used or utilized at its peak to make the Clone Wars animated show so much better because they needed him. And they also, I felt like, made one of the most fleshed out characters in Star Wars that I think at times with writing rivals Darth Vader. Not as like the greatest character of all time, but in terms of writing, I think that Darth Maul's writing is very solid as a character.